All right, guys, we'll go over a number of things here. As we transition into the college draft, the last couple days, it was a great way to look back and for me to self-evaluate. You know, over 21 years of doing this, it's continued to mold my philosophy on how we approach the college draft. And it starts with two things, guys. It's the heart and the mind. You can't get past that. Okay, so again, that goes back to remind us, as we get enamored with these players the next couple weeks, and we see them jump high, run fast, do the 3-cone in a low time, we just have to remind ourselves, guys, at 1 o'clock on Sunday, we don't run the 3-cone, okay? We have to think fast on our feet. Not only with our feet and our arms and our hands, but our minds as well. And this is the most critical part of the process, in my opinion, is the combine, because it's our first access to these players. Can they learn and retain? And that short amount of time that you guys have with them, we have to find that information out because it's so critical to whether a player can succeed at this level. Having the first pick in every round, guys, obviously it's going to really kind of put a premium on our team. But the one thing that I want to make sure is they get through that Cardinal filter that we talked about before, they have to love the game. Those are the type of players we win with. And if they don't love it, guys, we'll leave them over on the other board. Let's just make sure that the guys that we have that are fighting with us in this room love the game and give us every opportunity to succeed.
Joining us now, Arizona Cardinals head coach Kliff Kingsbury.
What's it like being here as a head coach, even if you just got in here yesterday?
Yeah, it's been great. Bringing back some old memories, obviously, and to get around all these college guys and the energy and the excitement they feel to be here. It's been a lot of fun. Hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Doing all right?
Good to see you, yeah.
It's good. Fast and furious. You know, when you go full throttle into something, that's what you want to do. And I always just wanted to play quarterback. And when that dream went away, coaching came up, and I wanted to dive headfirst into that. And I've been very fortunate to end up where I'm at.
So what is the biggest difference, even though the combine is just getting started now, to showing up here as a quarterback and showing up here as a head coach?
Yeah, a lot more stress as a QB. You know, you're getting evaluated on every level of your game. You know, psychologically, physically, all the medical tests, and so that's an intense 3 or 4 days.
Welcome back, Sirius XM Blitz. Bruce Murray, Brady Quinn in Indianapolis, the NFL Scouting Combine with the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Kliff Kingsbury. Kliff, it's great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks for taking the chance to join us. How do you go about the process of evaluating these guys? Is it similar back to when you are in college, evaluating recruits, guys that are coming out of high school? Is that how you kind of look at it now as you transition to the NFL?
It is. I think you take a lot of that you did in college, your processes to this level, but having a scouting department changes the game, right? So,
You a golfer?
I used to be. Then I started coaching and lost my game. So,
And then your vocation.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
I heard you get in at 4:30.
I try to get in there early. Yeah, I still want to get involved heavily in the offense, and that gives you kind of my offensive time before the staff meeting. I'd expect a tremendous jump. I think with the knowledge of the system, the more reps he gets, being healthy, he's just going to get better and better. Appreciate it, man. Good seeing you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Could you see in any way that #1 pick potentially being traded?
We'll see. I don't want to, say that wouldn't happen, but we want to make sure that that's not our guy before we do that. Because if you have the guy you want and you get him and don't have to worry about any of the other circumstances, you want to go ahead and do that.
Let's just cut to the chase here. Is it a possibility?
I mean, everything's a possibility right now. You got the first pick. Obviously, to hop right in and have the first pick is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime deal, hopefully. And working with Steve, I know he's excited. You got to be very thorough when you have the #1 pick, and we're excited to go through the process.
To me, it's #1. It's how much do you love it? All these guys that are here have a skill set. The two hardest things to read are the heart and the mind. And when you're evaluating guys on tape, you see all those skills you get excited about, and we all get enamored this time of year. In the fall, we fall in love with them, and in the spring, we confuse ourselves because we get enamored with the 3-cone and the Wonderlic. You have to find out, does he love it? and that is the biggest challenge in this process.
My name is Quentin Harris. I'm currently the pro director for the Arizona Cardinals, and I participated in this amazing event in 2002, Syracuse University.
Josh Scobie, West Area Scout. I participated in the Combine as a player, as a running back, 2002 draft.
I was nervous. There was a bit of an unknown to what exactly the process was. Now, you knew the drills, you knew what you were going to be doing, but you didn't know the interview part of it, you didn't know the psychological testing part of it, and you just didn't know, what was next. It was very high-paced, confusing at times.
It's just an intense 3 or 4 days. I mean, you're trying to prove yourself athletically, psychologically, with your health tests, the medical tests, and so you're just being evaluated for such an extended period of time. It just kind of leans on you during those days.
I'm loving this whole experience. I showed up and just, they told me to put my hand down, told me to stand here, step on the scale, and that's what I did. And everybody made a big deal about it. So
you're dressed down into your underwear, you're paraded down, you're walking up a set of stairs in a ballroom, you're on a stage in front of everybody. So you definitely feel that pressure, and you start, I don't want to use the word you feel self-conscious, but you do a little bit.
You come on stage and it's nervous. Now this was kind of similar to when I was coming out. They did have this spectacle, but it wasn't this stadium kind of layout where it kind of goes up, but it was more all even.
But you come in, you get on a scale, everybody's judging your body, your height, your hands, so you're definitely under a microscope, and they're just watching you.
It's kind of intimidating, coming up on stage based on the people that's in the audience.
97.5. Much different than what I'm used to with the benches and the seating and the media presence, but a lot more buzz where it was business-like before, but now there's a little entertainment concept to it now.
It has come a long way. It's a lot more of a media spectacle than it was when I was here, but it's fun. I think it's great for the league, it's great for the brand, and I know those players enjoy all the attention.
It's a business trip, but at the same time, I think managing the media outlets and managing all the circus going on around outside is something that you look for in players to see how they're dealing with a lot of it. I think it's grown to such a level that there's a lot more distraction for the guys.
I don't really pay attention to it. I see it everywhere though. I'm not gonna lie, I see it everywhere. Sitting in the meeting rooms with, all the players, and we're just sitting here and I'm on the TV. So, you can't really get away from it, but it is what it is.
How motivated are you to prove that you're the #1 pick in this class?
I really haven't thought about being the #1 pick. I just want to motivate myself from being the best player I want to be, being the best player I can be in myself for whichever team I go to.
It's a dream come true. Arizona's at #1 right now. That would just mean so much to me to be thought of as the best player in the draft.
Last year, the fact that we've earned the first pick in the draft is not something that you're proud of. It's humbling, quite frankly, but we're embracing that right now. And I think there's a lot of value in that pick. We're actually having a lot of fun with all the excitement. It's great for the organization. It's great for the National Football League.
We're really focusing on finding that player that can take this organization to the next level. Obviously, having the #1 pick, you really want to make sure that player is super impactful and they have all the skill sets and the traits and the characteristics that you want to see to represent this organization.
I'm a competitor. I love the game. To be the #1 pick would be, that's a kid's dream come true. So. If my name was called #1, that would, I'd be ready to go for sure.
Is it all just smoke, or is there actually something to it? Kyler Murray, #1 to the Arizona Cardinals, is a big conversation this week in Indianapolis.
I think the perfect fit is the Kliff Kingsbury offense, and that happens to be with the first pick of the draft.
I like this talk that they're doing about Kyler because somebody's going to want to trade up to the #1 spot to grab him.
Some people think the Cardinals are bluffing, like the scenario you presented. Some of them think that they're in love with Kyler Murray. None of us know.
You really, as a combine participant, that's one thing that I wasn't prepared for, is the part of you are under a microscope.
Because there's only so many things you can learn about a player talking to them or talking to the coaches, you have to look at the other things, the nonverbal things that can really help lead you to understanding how to evaluate a player the right way.
I'm big on body language. I'm seeing how guys are responding to all the external pressure that now it's greater than when I was here.
I think I'm the best player in this draft. I feel like every other guy here should believe that, but I believe that. And if a team doesn't believe that, then, then I'll see them during the season.
It's the way a guy carries himself. I mean, when they carry themselves with confidence, it's a different look. And that certainly, in my opinion, permeates throughout your building. When guys are confident, when they keep their head up, their style of play.
I think you can see some things from stiffness and a looseness standpoint.
Do they seem focused?
How erect they are, how loose their shoulders are, how lightly they walk.
Are they taking it serious? Because that's another flag, guys, too loose, too relaxed, not taking it serious.
Some guys come up here and they're, you can tell their chin is up high. They know they look good, and they know guys are impressed with their build. So you can tell those guys out the gate, but then the guys that aren't really comfortable with it, you can tell because they're in a rush to get up there and get down because they obviously, aren't confident. But the guys that relish this moment, they know it and they show it.
Never stop. Mics, confetti drops, dim lights. Just shut 'em off. You can call me Vice. I will forever rock all night. Never stop. Live your life. Take a shot underneath these bright lights. Now it's getting hot, and you already know my name. I will forever rock.
Well, last night we had a full night. We started at 6 and we went to about 10:30, and tonight it'll be very similar.
You go into a room, there's a chair, there's a bunch of seating, so you're like center of attention.
It can be grueling because after a while you get tired, but at the same time, this process is so important to making sure that we get these picks right.
They want to make you uncomfortable. A lot of these meetings I walk out of very uncomfortable. And I have no problem talking in front of people, and I've left a lot of meetings uncomfortable, and I think they try to do that for a reason.
I'm meeting with Arizona tonight.
We only get 15 minutes with the guys, and sometimes this might be the only interaction that we may have with this guy before we draft him. So one of the scouts works as a runner for us. The scout will track down the player, bring him to the door, and I'll bring the player in, introduce him to the room. Steve, Michael, Terry McDonough, the head coach, coordinator and position coach are in here as well. Have the kids sit down. We usually just call it the hot seat, and he'll sit there. We'll start firing questions at him depending on things we want to check with in terms of background, or we want to clean up any issues that we had heard in the fall at the school. We have the scouts put a big book together, and it breaks down personal character, injury history all the way through high school, football character, comments that we get from coaches and staff on how hard these guys work, how much they love the game, how are they in the weight room, how are they with staff. I kind of like to put a story for each guy, so before the kid comes in, they can start to scan through it and say, oh, okay, you have a child, you tore up your knee in 16, you recovered from that. They have a little bit of a storyline to follow before the player gets in, and then we kind of break the ice and let it flow. Then we'll get into some of the football stuff and see how well the kid learns, get them on the whiteboard, we'll put some tape up, and they'll just start diagnosing plays and start talking about things that happened during the season. What did you see here? What was your coverage here? Where are your eyes here? What are your rules in this situation? Give me a huddle call. In some cases, this might be the only chance that Steve or Kliff or Michael gets to actually sit with the kid, because you're so limited by how many players you can talk to and how many interactions you could have with them, especially in the fall. There are times where an interview makes you say, I want this guy to be a Cardinal. And there's many that make you say, I do not want this guy to be a Cardinal. And then when you're sitting at the table and you're reading your report and you're talking to Steve and you're talking to the head coach, you could say, I believe in this guy gonna be great for a locker room, this guy's gonna be productive, he's tough, he's gonna make our team better. So again, that's the same thing that I'm getting from those interviews. Do I want him here? Don't I want him here? You hear certain things and then you're able to corroborate that information. Just be able to put a period at the end of it and say, okay, now I feel good about that player. That interaction solidifies what my thoughts were about this player, because now I know my grade is gonna be good and I'm gonna be able to fight for this guy when we sit at the table. You leave feeling, like it's not quite over, but you feel good about where you're going to start slotting those guys and where they're going to finally end up on your horizontal board and then on the 120.
There's no doubt that this free agency process is going to be critical for us and have to hit on a number of players.
The offensive line's a spot. Defensive line, they're looking for a pass rusher opposite of Chandler Jones.
My agent said, well, if you're not going to play in Baltimore, where would you want to play? And I said, if I'm not going to play in Baltimore, then I'm going to go home and play and come play for the Arizona Cardinals.
It's official.
I'm a Cardinal?
You're a Cardinal.
There we go.
Congrats.
Yes, the 2019 league year is now upon us.